Hello and welcome to this educational video. Today we're going to take a look at how the gut and the enteric nervous system work together to move food and absorb nutrients. We will also touch on the parasympathetic nervous system, a little bit on the sympathetic nervous system, and how it plays a role in digestion. Here I have 3 images. Break down the intestine layer by layer. Starting with the lumen, we are going to look here. These are microvilli. The lumen is in the inner space of the intestine where food moves through. This is where digestion really takes off inside the intestine. Nutrients are broken down and absorbed. The epithelial cells lining the lumen have microvilli. They help increase surface area, maximize nutrition absorption. And essentially, this is how molecules like glucose, amino acids, and fats make their way into the bloodstream or the lymphatic system here, as we have the gland ducts. Now, going through further into the layers, we have these top 3 layers are actually called the mucosa. The epithelium, we just talked about, responsible for secretion and absorption. The lamina propria, and here we have the basal lamina, which provide connective support. The lamina propria is mostly blood vessels, while the basal lamina is connective tissue. The muscularis mucosa, which runs both circular and longitudinal muscles, and we'll see that play out here in the next layers. The submucosa, right here, as we could see by a laser that is pointing, is the home of the submucosal plexus, and also known as the Meissner plexus. And this is in charge of secretion, blood vessel constriction, and localized contraction. So we have here a number of nerves, and they help innervate down to the epithelia. And next we have the circular muscle, which is a larger version of the muscularis mucosa, and this is where really peristalsis takes place between the circular muscle and the longitudinal muscle. And we have here in between them the myenteric plexus, also known as the Auerbach plexus, which controls gut motility and coordinates movement by way of peristalsis, segmentation. And if you were to have a bowel resection or any type of laparoscopic general surgery to do anything to the intestine, this will be the first layer that a surgeon would see, the serosa. And the serosa minimizes friction between moving organs, secretes serous fluid, which is the fluid in between the organs. It's rather slimy. And yes, it serves as a protective barrier. We're going to talk a little bit about innervation and the enteric nervous system. Every layer of the gut is innervated. Closer to the mucosa, we have the submucosal plexus, right? These are neural plexuses. And in between the circular and longitudinal muscle layers, we find the enteric plexus. These neural networks are directly connected to the vagus nerve, nerve number 10, which originates from the medulla oblongata. And here we have a better picture where we have the brainstem, we have the cerebellum, spinal cord, sacral region, and right there where we have the brainstem, we have the medulla oblongata. Vagus nerve originates from the medulla oblongata, and as it travels along, it innervates the pharynx, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, and the 2/3 of the large intestine. As I read, the pelvis nerves innervate the lower third of the large intestine, all the way down to the rectum. So yes, the vagus nerve plays a huge role in digestion, providing parasympathetic innervation to the pharynx and all the way down to the rectum. And of course to the pelvic nerves. So we have to talk about neurotransmitters, and the first one I have here in light blue is the excitatory neurotransmitter, acetylcholine, and I have in light blue here where they would be presented. The vagus nerve would deliver these neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters are excitatory, which means these chemicals, what they actually do is they stimulate contraction, and they excite, stimulate contraction of smooth muscle. And the inhibitory neurotransmitters I have here as nitric oxide and vasoactive intestinal peptide. They do the opposite. They're inhibitory, no VIP. They prevent contraction. This is how food moves through the intestine in a coordinated fashion. The circular and longitudinal muscles work in rhythm cycles, contracting, relaxing, and pushing food forward, down, all the way through the digestive tract, the alimentary canal. The role of the parasympathetic nervous system here through the vagus nerve enhances peristalsis, stimulating the enteric plexus to keep food moving, increasing secretion of digestive enzymes, mucus, ensuring proper digestion, and through the no VIP, relaxing, allowing food to pass between different sections of the digestive tract. Of course, the sympathetic nervous system has a play in there with the neuroepinephrine and the neuroadrenaline, inhibiting motility as well, motility being peristalsis and segmentation. They reduce digestive secretions as well. All part of the autonomic nervous system. These nerves extend throughout the gut, from the muscularis to the epithelial, making sure digestion happens efficiently. The enteric nervous system and the parasympathetic system work together to regulate digestion. between the submucosal and my enteric plexi and neurotransmitters like acetylcholine, nitric oxide, VIP. Our body ensures food moves smoothly. These are made out of 100 billion neurons, from what I read, which is impressive. And of course, the vagus nerve plays a critical role in keeping everything running. Well, that's my presentation. Thank you very much.